Everyone, WX Ninja here with your daily weather updates. All right, as you can see, we got some rain in the south, leftover snow showers in the northeast. Not too cold back in Montana, but you can see it kind of dips like this. So we're getting some cold in parts of the east. Let's look at the snow forecast. Here's today, leftover snow showers. Pretty quiet overall snow-wise though. As we get into tomorrow, you see a little bit over in Idaho, a little bit left over there in the east coast for your Saturday. Move on into Sunday, see system, a little bit of it affects the northern states there into Wisconsin, Minnesota. Then as Monday rolls around, that kind of sticks around. So some heavier snow for parts of Wisconsin there. I see some 5-inch plus totals. A little bit of snow out here towards the Rockies. Oops, I skipped a frame. Then you see we get a big snow producer up in Maine. We'll have to see just how this all comes together. This would be for Tuesday, November 19th. So if you live on the East Coast there up in Maine, it might be in for a big snow event there, and then see some snow dipping down into central part of the U.S. there. Now let's go to this frame for Wednesday. Pretty quiet overall. Just some leftover snow. Parts of the U.S. there. See the system digging in. Looks like down in California we're talking snow. Four Corners region, into Montana and Idaho. Nothing big there. We see more snow up north here. This low moves off to the east. Seeing some more snow in the Four Corners region. Let's go forward in time here. Saturday, November 23rd. This all goes south. So it could be a decent snowstorm for parts of the south here in the central part of the U.S. We'll have to see. And looks like another shot of snow for the northeast. This is next Saturday. See all that move off to the east, north a little bit. Remember it was down in here. Now it's moving off kind of to the northeast. Big snow producer if this happened. This will be Sunday, November 24th. Something to keep your eyes on. That goes off to the east. Going to impact the east coast. A little bit of snow out west. And as we move on to the 26th, they're calling for another big snow. Parts of the New England states. A little bit of leftover snow here in the Rockies. Again, this is far out in time, but we'll see what happens. Bigger system coming into the west coast, affecting a fair amount, and then some leftover snow, it looks like here in parts of the northeast. That kind of continues. See a little bit of snow up in the northern states as well. It's pretty far out in time. That was actually Thanksgiving Day right there. It's Thanksgiving Day forecast, but so far out. So just kind of we're looking at the pattern. You see the snow kind of stays in the same places and then kind of decreases. All right, let's go over here to the actual model. We'll run through this. Here's our conditions right now. You see some rain in the south. Pretty quiet snow-wise. You see a front approaching the west coast. The low for the east. We're seeing it 10-10, so just keep your eyes open if you live on the east coast there, especially the southeast coast. Could be a rainy and windy weekend ahead. Rain in the west. See the low move up. Gets a little, I think that low actually dips south. I don't think that's two separate lows. I think it just kind of dips south a little bit, but still going to be windy. You see the winds kind of increasing there as we move into the Saturday. Quiet overall in the country. Other than this big low, it's going to get strong. It's going to get windy. Looks like the Carolinas are going to get some wind. So if you live on the Carolina coast, be prepared for some wind and some rain. Maybe some coastal flooding, a little beach erosion there as you see a system trying to impact the west coast there. But that's definitely the big story. It pulls out a little bit on Sunday and then kind of slides up the coast as we see a little bit of snow in the Great Lakes region. Pretty quiet overall though. And that low just kind of ejects out. Tries to put a little ice storm there on parts of the east coast because there's just enough colder air, it thinks, to interact with this low and bring in some possibly freezing rain. That's a pretty big freezing rain sleet event there for Tuesday. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see. It wasn't calling for this yesterday, but now it's thinking there's enough cold air to be a pretty significant ice storm there. And then some snow probably further north. You see big rainmaker moving into Seattle. This is Tuesday, November 19th. Going to get rainy as the snow and ice ends here for the east. The rain stays in the west coast. Get a little bit of rain now coming up. Maybe some scattered snow. You can see the jet streams dug like this. So colder air behind it. See some snow up in the north. Low moves off. snow left around, and we got some rain and snow for parts of the west. Pretty decent low here, so it looks like California, you can finally get some decent rain out of this. See this low form and bring some snow to the northern states. That low in the south moves into Mexico, leaves some scattered rain and a little bit of snow on the higher elevations. The system gets stronger, there'll be rain out in front of it and snow behind it. It's pretty typical as the colder areas behind the low. Some pretty good rain into Texas, Oklahoma, parts of Four Corners region. Snow in the higher hills. This may wrap around a little bit, get some Great Lake area snow, and then moves off to the east. See some snow up there. Now we're calling for a little bit of ice here into parts of Oklahoma and Texas, and some snow as well. We'll have to see how that pans out. It's a pretty decent ice storm. It's bringing along with it as the colder air is to its north, so that part would make sense. And then it moves through the heart of the country. Snow and ice and rain. Some more rain on the west coast, and it just keeps moving off to the northeast. This rain moves into the west, moves up the coast. A lot of snow behind it. See another low form, bring some snow up north. Here's your heavy snow we were talking about. We saw for the New England states. That's why that low is going to cut across the country. Got a low up north here, bringing in some snow, and then another low coming down to the west coast there. Looks like I'll bring some heavy rain, maybe some mountain snow. Finally out west, this low just kicks some rain out in front of it and snow more around it. You see some snow in the higher elevations here. Let's get into Thanksgiving Day right about here. Bam. So a little bit of snow on the East Coast, snow on the in the Dakotas. This must be mountain snow out here in Idaho and parts of Oregon and Washington. See snow moving across. Sets up into Minnesota there for Thanksgiving Day. So could be some rain and some snow for Thanksgiving Day. Parts of the U.S. As we move through out the week. And into the weekend, you see the front draped here, another strong low over Florida, and a strong low moving into the west coast. Again, this is so far out in time, we're just kind of looking at general pattern here. Stormy in the west, stormy in the east, and that's the end of the run. Let's look at temperatures, departure from average. So here's right now. This is European model, 24-hour increments, warm out west, kind of cold in the south, and then a little bit up north there. Trying to dig down, boom, impacts New England states. And warmer out to the west. As we get into Sunday, it kind of moderates that cold air, stays pretty warm out west. Same kind of thing, you see the eastern parts of the country. This is a very interesting pattern here with warm all around and then a little cold pool. And then the warm kind of dissipates, a little more of a cold pool. Same kind of deal. Looks like this high slides off to the east a little bit. You have lower pressure here and the cooler than average temperatures. Same kind of deal. As we move into November 21st, see the warmth again up in Canada and along the west coast. Cold off the coast of California and kind of continues up into the Great Lakes region. And then it does a kind of a flip. Gets cool in the northeast, cool in the central part of the U.S., and stays a little warmer than average out west. See the warmth trying to move down, and that's what's going to end. I want to show you guys one more model. This is one I haven't shown before. Basically, this tells you where the low and high pressures are going to be in the U.S. So I'm going to let this play out, and you can just kind of watch as they twirl around. You can see the higher pressure on the west coast, keeping us a little warmer than average over there, a little bit cooler than average on the east coast. That's how they're thinking the winter's going to go overall. See another warm, some cool up into Alaska. The warm just stays off the west coast into BC as the cold kind of continues in the east. And through this whole run, that's kind of how it remains. Warm, 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 cooler, cooler, cooler. Kind of equalizes at times, not as warm, not as cold, but it doesn't really move too much. So it's kind of interesting to see, as you guys saw there, and this is what they're calling for winter in a large part of the U.S. is warm and then cooler as you get towards the east coast. So if that trend continues and you love snow, I don't think you're going to see much for the month of November out west unless you live in the higher elevations. Even then, ski areas, they're not having a great start out west in most areas. So they need the systems to move on in so they can get the snow, the mountain snow, to open up the ski resorts. So hopefully that'll happen for them. All right, this is WX Ninja. I appreciate everyone stopping by again. You can subscribe. You can hit the bell icon. You'll get notified as soon as I make a video via email. And again, we'll just keep an eye for the weather. If you guys want to leave a comment with your conditions, I'd appreciate it. All right, take care. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time.